Nations bow, mountains shake at the sound of just one name. Over all, Jesus reigns. I know. Nations bow, mountains shake at the sound of just one name. Over all, Jesus reigns. I know. Hey. Ooh, yeah. Now who is this King of glory? He is Lord over all. He sees you where you are, and He inhabits our praise. So let's sing to Him. Here we go. Hey! There is a King of glory. There is a God who saves. One who is strong and mighty. Freedom is in His name. Hey! Open the gates of heaven. Lift up a shout of praise. There is a Lion. Jesus, the King of glory. There is a lion roaring. Jesus, the King of glory.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Church Online. My name is Tiffany, and we are so glad that you decided to tune in today. If this is your first time tuning in, we want to give you a special welcome. We are so glad you're here. In fact, we would love to give you a gift just as a thank you for tuning in today. We'd love to send you a free Crosspoint t-shirt if you text the number below. Today, we are continuing in our series, Hope Dealer, where we're studying the names of God. And what I love about the God that we serve is that He has so many different names that each represent who He is and why He is worth worshiping. So today, our prayer is that as you unpack another name of God, that you would feel more secure in this God that we serve, more secure in this God who has a plan for you, more secure in this God who has come to save you.
So Higher Ground is an organization that reaches youth, at-risk youth, especially at risk for gang involvement, because that's really the only connections that are going on in those neighborhoods. So the benefit is that you find out that through education, that knowledge is power, and through education, you can go somewhere and it's worth something and it's available to you. It's like it's right there and you can make the most of it. So turning around just some misconceptions that communities have. We service over 500 students a week when things are normal. What has happened is we've been distributing food. We started with about 250, went to like 350, 450, 550 every week, just grew. We tell them, hey, bring back 10 friends next week, and it's exploding. So what's happening is there's a surplus of dairy and there's a surplus of produce. So we give them beautiful produce. It's like restaurant quality stuff in boxes. So this is about our 13th week of food distribution, and we are running out of shelf staple foods like peanut butter. So Crosspoint has come beside us and given us a surplus to hand out. We had 1,000 cars last week. We served 1,050 families. And what will happen this week is Crosspoint's generosity will be shared with who comes this week. So that generosity looks like what the church has given in the past, and that has surplus that they can say, we have $1,000 to give to Higher Ground to buy food, which Crosspoint's going to do for us. And then the generosity of people showing up on our doorstep at Crosspoint and giving us peanut butter and jelly to supply these families with some nice lunches. Without the people that show up to help and without the people who give, Higher Ground wouldn't be there. So I'm thankful for God that at this moment, in this cultural moment, this tension that's happening, that people are just being moved to show Jesus everywhere and to give and to serve and to love others in Jesus' name. And I'm thankful that Crosspoint just wants that to happen, that they want to be part of it and are excited every time an opportunity comes up. So I just think that as a community, it's important for us to be pouring into a community. We can sit in our church, but that's just not going to do it. And we know that so well right now because we're not sitting in our church. So let's be the church. Let's just go out and be the church and love people and serve people and feed people and give to people and do it in the name of Jesus and do it joyfully and just be the hope that I know Crosspoint always wants to be.
Did you know that bumblebees are not supposed to fly? According to physics, science, and the laws of aerodynamics, it's impossible for them to become airborne. Their fat bodies and their little wings mean that they should never be able to leave the ground. I guess the scientists, though, forgot to tell the bumblebee, or else the bumblebee didn't pay attention in physics class. And I love this fact, because it illustrates something that we see in our world all the time. Things that are supposed to be impossible happen right around us. Little creatures that aren't supposed to fly, they buzz through the air. People with dark pasts are called by God to do great things. God uses the ordinary to do extraordinary. Marriages that were beyond repair are restored and redeemed. Students that were going the world's way, now going God's way. You know, one of our values here at Crosspoint Church is courageous faith. We say it like this: we're faith-filled, big thinking, bet the farm risk takers. We do not insult God with small thinking and safe living. And this value is rooted in Hebrews 11, where it says, without faith, it's impossible to please God. Do you want to know how to test your faith? Ask yourself this question: what are you trying to attempt right now that God's called you to that will fail unless God shows up? You know, in this season, we all need a shot of faith. And one of the ways that we respond in faith to God's grace and God's goodness is in this area of generosity. When we sacrificially give, even in ways that don't make sense in the eyes of the world, we're honoring God with faith. When we listen to God's word and God's voice, more than we listen to the doomsday news, we've got to get some news, but when we focus on all that and we focus on the advice from other people around us, listen, we're acting in faith when we follow what God wants for us. I guess the bumblebee defies the laws of physics, and generosity defies the laws of selfishness. When you give to your church online, you're part of hope. You're bringing hope and good news to other people in need. You know, God has called us as a church not to step back during this season, but to step forward in faith to help more people find and follow Jesus. So I want to challenge you to give online today, or better yet, set up reoccurring giving. Automate the important. Listen, when you automate your giving, we as a church, we can plan more intelligently for the future, and we can also be more bold in our mission to help people find and follow Jesus. God bless you that are taking a step in faith, and God bless you for those of you that are being generous in this season.
I searched the world, it couldn't fill me. Mountains depressed, treasures that fade are never enough. You came along, you put me back together. won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Church Online. And before we get started this morning, I just want to give you, maybe this is the first time you've heard this, but mark your calendars because August 16th is going to be a day you will not want to miss. At both of our campuses at 6:30 in the evening, we're going to have an incredible outdoor event. It's going to be really fun. We'll have worship, prayer, just a great time to maybe see each other in the flesh. We'll be getting more information out to you here pretty soon, but be on the lookout for more information because it is going to be incredible. But what I want to do is I want to start off right now just giving you a little bit more of the backstory of me and my family. So on December 9th, 2018, we brought my daughter Elizabeth home from the hospital. And at first, everything was awesome. You know, just whenever there's new life in your family, it's an exciting time. And I'm not sure when it happened, but after we got home, some of that excitement started to wane as our daughter started to cry. And I'm not just talking about like a little whimper, but like a full-bellied bellow for like hours at a time. And for those of you who have been parents to children with colic, you know that it doesn't matter how much you label it or how many other stories you hear of people getting through it. It's exhausting. It's really hard. And it's like no matter what we did, it just wasn't enough. If she was awake, if she wasn't eating, she was crying. You know, I'll give you the three most common words around our house during that season of time. And for those of you who maybe have like a more inflated view of me than realistic, you might think that maybe those three most common words are like praise the Lord or like count it joy. No, it wasn't anything like that. These are the three most common words in our home. I give up. I give up. I mean, we were sleepless, we were on edge, we were exhausted. The three most common words in our home were I give up. And really, it looked like hope was nowhere on the horizon. And when the hope runs out, the quit starts up, am I right? It's like we don't realize how much we need hope until it's gone. And my question for you is, what situation in your life is making you just say these three words? I give up. Maybe you've been working to get ahead financially. And it seems like he's finally started to make some progress. And then an emergency happened, and that little bit of money you'd saved is completely gone, and your debt is now being racked up once again. And you're just left saying, I give up. Maybe you are looking around your workplace, and you realize that you are the most hated person at your job. You're the Toby Flenderson of your workplace. And as you look around, you see as everybody's trying to drag you down, you're just left saying, no matter what I do, it doesn't seem to work. I give up. Or maybe you have like a million irons in the fire and you already feel overwhelmed by just all the pressures and the pulls on your life. And then all of a sudden, a family emergency happens and it gets dropped into your lap. And you're left asking and thinking and saying, I give up. You know, the Bible actually speaks a lot about God being our refuge and our strength and our ever-present help in trouble. And you kind of wonder, like, if that really is the case and we really do believe that, like, why don't we trust him more in those I give up moments? And I would just like to submit that some of us might struggle with what I call the spiritual disorder of the grocery store checkout line. Now, bear with me a second. I think we've all been there. You know, you're walking through the grocery store with your Mountain Dew and your Cheetos, and you get to that conveyor belt and you set it down, and you turn and you look at the magazine rack, and you see a big headline, Stars, they're just like us. And you look and you see this picture of a supermodel without her makeup, and she's like paying the meter on the street, and she doesn't look that great. Or you see some Hollywood leading man who's starting to develop that dad bod as he is walking the dog on the beach. And as you look down at the conveyor belt and you see your future meals of canned chili and Hungry Man dinners, you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I'm not doing too bad. And the thing is, we love to take the shine off of celebrities, and in part because it makes us feel better about ourselves. But what happens when you carry that same attitude into your spiritual life? What happens when you try and bring God down to your level? And what you do is you want to try and remake God and say that, man, God, he's just like me. And what we do is we try and lower him, and rather than allowing him to be in an elevated position, we put him on our own level. And it's one of the reasons why you can have a song that's successful, like, what if God was one of us? We love this idea that God could be on our level. And the real issue is if we're on God's level and we can't handle our problems, then he can't handle our problems either. It's this mindset of God. He's just like us. You know, if you actually look in the very first section of the Bible, in the very first book of the Bible, in fact, our first parents, they were tempted with this idea that if they ate of the fruit, that they could be just like God. And I'm going to say that this is a temptation that many of us wrestle with even to this day. In case in point, if you say you believe there's a God and you're going through problems and you just want to say, I give up, why do we skip out on praying? Why do we skip out on trusting him? Why are we so unsure about the future? I mean, what excuse is there to not believe God when he's so close at hand? And I believe that we fall victim to a philosophy that we have just as much power as he does. And if he is just like us, if he is on our same level, then why isn't he doing more? And it's because, frankly, he just doesn't have it in him. It's a question, and it's disregarding his identity. You know, a couple weeks back, we started this brand new series called Hope Dealer. And as followers of Jesus, we believe that we are merchants of hope. That the story of Jesus overcoming the graves that mean that we should never be without hope. And here's the cool thing. The Bible is littered with examples of God and his faithfulness. And when God gets involved, hope is never in short supply. And one of the biggest examples that he gives us about how incredible he is at giving us hope is in the names he asks us to call him. You know, and in the consistent theme throughout the Bible is the intentional meanings that God has when it comes to names. Like, no one was ever named arbitrarily, it seems like. And see, in our world, we settle on names because, hey, that's what we could decide on in the pregnancy. Or maybe we like that TV show and we just wanted to honor that character by naming our kid after them. But in the Bible, God would ask us to call people based on attributes that they possess. And frankly, he also asks us to call him names based on attributes that he possesses. And see, in our English translation of the Bible, we often just see the word God or we see the word Lord. But in the Hebrew, specifically in the Old Testament, there were multiple names that all find their way back to being translated into God or Lord. Multiple names that all communicate a specific avenue of hope, even for us to this day. So today, I want to talk about a name that we can call on whenever we're in a situation that makes us just want to give up. Because when you hit situations where you're powerless and your prospects are hopeless, we have to remember it's not all about you. Elyon is his name, which means God Most High. The very first time this name was ever used in the Bible was in Genesis 14. And let me tell you that story. See, word had just gotten back to Abram that his nephew Lot had been captured from the home city of Sodom. And this was no small fight. I mean, maybe by today's standards, this would be like a minor incident. But for that day and age, this was a major international conflict. So you had one set of nations. In fact, you had 5 nations that all joined together to fight against 4 other nations. And somehow, some way, the 4 nations defeated the 5. And in their victory, they raided the city of Sodom. They took Abram's nephew Lot, his family, his possessions, all his servants, and started taking them back to their home cities. When one of those servants escapes, he runs back to his master's uncle and tells him everything that happened. Now, as far as situations are concerned, this one seems pretty hopeless. I mean, you don't go into a fight with 4 entire armies and expect to win. I mean, the 3 words that come to mind in a situation like this is, I give up. I mean, despite the fact that Abram was a very wealthy man and he had lots of resources, I mean, how do you fight off an axis of 4 nations? I mean, you don't. And, you know, frankly, when I think about it, you know what 3 words I've wanted to say multiple times in the year 2020? I give up. I mean, where has there been good news this year? Our nation has decided to polarize even more. The pandemic seems like it's a Rolling Stones like farewell tour that as soon as you think it's all done, they're like, nope, we're announcing another one. Like let's keep this thing going. And maybe you're looking not just at a pandemic and a quarantine, but you're looking at a hopeless situation that's been amplified by all this, a hopeless situation in your marriage or at your job or in your unemployment or with your retirement. And you're just asking, where is the hope? What do I do? So Abram's nephew has been captured along with everything he owns, and now the bag has been dropped into Abram's lap. But Abram doesn't give up. He calls together the servants that are in his home. He has 318 trained men, and what they do is they decide they're going after Lot. And so as they start making their way towards the enemy, they decide they're going to attack at night, and they split their group into 2 parts, and they go and they recapture Lot, they recapture his family and all of his possessions. And when Abram takes everything back home, he's greeted by 2 kings, One's the king of the evil city of Sodom, which is a notoriously evil city. The other king is named Melchizedek, who is a priest to the God Most High. And he blesses Abram with this. This is Genesis 14, 19 through 20. It says, Melchizedek blessed Abram with this blessing. Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, Elyon, who has defeated your enemies for you. And here's what he's saying. Abram, you're blessed. You didn't win that fight. Yeah, you have resources and you had 318 trained men, but you didn't win that fight. The God who is above everything, the one who sits on the throne overlooking it all, he has won this battle for you. You were in an impossible situation, but you prevailed because Elyon was on your side. And Abram apparently agrees because as he looks at his situation, he cuts off 10% of everything that he had won in that battle, and he gives it as a gift to Melchizedek, as a thank you gift to God Most High, Elyon. Okay, we hear a story like this, and you're like, yeah, that's one perspective. And even the skeptic in me, we hear this story, and as we look at even just the original documents there in Genesis, we say, we don't really have a ton of detail about this fight. Sure, it was Abram with his 318 against the axis of foreign nations, but who knows what the previous battle had done to the size of that army? We don't know if maybe they were stretched so thin after that battle that Abram was able to sweep in even with a smaller force and completely wipe them out because they had gone through such a terrible fight before. And we don't know if this was an easy ordeal. And frankly, it's easy sometimes to say, I'm giving God the credit after the victory has already been won. But let me give you another perspective. See, nearly 1,000 years after this story, there was a shepherd turned warrior who was on the run from the king. This young man was named David, and he was running because the king was jealous. In fact, the king believed that David was going to steal the nation out from under him. And for most people, as you look at a king, an entire nation pursuing you, you would say, I give up. What else am I possibly going to do? Because David had no ambition to stage a revolution. He had no ambition to try and steal the kingdom, but the king didn't care. He chased David into the wilderness. And so David was now homeless, but he was not hopeless. Despite his circumstances, despite what everything in human nature would suggest, David was confident that he was right where God wanted him. And he writes this in the 57th Psalm. He says, have mercy on me, O God, have mercy. I look to you for protection. I will hide beneath the shadow of your wings until the danger passes by. I cry out to God Most High, Elyon, to God who will fulfill his purpose for me. He will send help from heaven to rescue me, disgracing those who found me. My God will send forth his unfailing love and faithfulness. So we actually believe that David wrote this while he was hiding in a cave from the king. And he says, I am crying out to Elyon to rescue me from this situation. If God is on my level, my impossible situation stays an impossible situation. There are simply things that I cannot overcome on my own. Genetics. You can't help if you're predisposed to something because of your DNA. Culture. One generation can't eradicate the beliefs of another generation. What about nature? One storm, one fire, one earthquake. It's all that we need to remind us, ultimately, we're not in charge. And if God is on my level, if it's God, he's just like us, there is no hope. There is no hope of a rescue. However, if we hold fast to the name Elyon, God Most High, we have to remember, God is above my circumstances. He is above my situations. He is not subject to them. They are subject to him. Elyon means When I win the battle and I'm celebrating, I can remember that God was above my enemies. And when I'm hiding in the cave and my enemies are bearing down on me, Elyon means there's always hope for a rescue. See, like our court system is made up of lower courts who can make decisions and declarations, and they might stand, they might actually have dramatic changes to our personal life. There's always hope that the Supreme Court will make the final ruling. We believe that God is our supreme decider. My situation is dire, but God still gets to weigh in because he is Elyon. See, a higher power leads to a greater hope. See, my marriage is bad, but Elyon means there is still hope for reconciliation. My addiction is raging, but Elyon means there is still hope for recovery. My finances are in shambles, but Elyon means there is still hope for a rescue. My anxiety is never ending, but Elyon means there is still hope for relief. Because we affirm that this is who God is, let me encourage you. Give up. Give up this right we think that we hold of white-knuckling our way, trying to control everything in our lives. Let's give up the belief that God is helpless to do anything about it. Let's give up the feelings of despair, and let's grab tightly to the promise that God has exalted himself above the heavens. See, as he formed the stars in the sky and he spoke light into the existence, he is positioned higher than the sky. As he carved out the oceans and directed the climates, he positioned himself higher than nature. As he formed us of the dust of the ground and he breathed life into our empty lungs, he positioned himself higher than our biology. And as Jesus' lifeless body was dropped into a tomb, and then 3 days later he opened his eyes, slipped out of those grave clothes, and walked out into the light, he positioned himself higher than your circumstances. No matter your situation, no matter what is happening in your life, Elyon means he is above it all. And as long as he is above it all, you can be filled with an expectant hope. An expectant hope that he's going to work it out exactly like he needs it to. Do you know what God has been teaching me in 2020? Is that I control so many fewer things than I thought I did. I'm learning a lesson now that I really should have learned 18 months ago when my daughter Elizabeth was keeping us up with her cries every single night. That if I put my hope in my circumstances, then happiness can be possible, but it's going to be fleeting. But my hope was never supposed to rest in what I could accomplish or do. It has always been meant to rest in who God is. Here's what Pastor Tony Evans says. He says, Elyon means he is the Most High God who sits above my situation and has the power to overrule what my situation is dictating to me. When I declare that God is not enough and I say, I give up, I'm immediately looking down. And do you know what the look of defeat is? It's your head down. But when I give up, my head is down. When I'm done, my head is down. When I look down and all I can see are my circumstances and my problems. And when I'm looking down, there's little good news. However, as children of God, we were never designed to walk around with our head down. God designed us and created us to sit in a posture, not of defeat, but of ones with our heads up, looking to God Most High, Elyon. Abram, he went into battle, and after the victory, he acknowledged that Elyon was its source. David hid in a cave, and during the uncertainty of everything that would happen in his life, he acknowledged that Elyon could still deliver him. Elyon in victory. He is Elyon in defeat. He is Elyon no matter what my situation or my circumstances might suggest. He is a God above it all, no matter what it is. And as long as he is above it all, there is hope. There is hope that he will overrule whatever my situation or my circumstances might suggest. And as many of us are sitting right now in this proverbial COVID cave, and we never seem to get any good news, and we're just so uncertain about what might happen next, let's give up the illusion of control. Elyon is the Most High, and he's sitting above our situation. He is a higher power, and a higher power leads to a greater hope. And when God does lead us through this, and hopefully on the other side of pandemics and lockdowns, let's remember to acknowledge he is the one who has brought us victory. But I want to talk to you and ask you the question right now. Is he your God Most High? That some of you might have said years ago, I am making a decision today to follow Jesus, but you live your life still in this position of your head is down, you're only looking at your problems, and you're trying to drag God down to your own level. I'm asking you, give that up. Trust that he is above it all and that you can trust him. Some of you might be sitting here and thinking, I have never declared God to be the Elyon, the God Most High of my life. And I want to invite you today, make a declaration that you can't do this on your own, that you need a higher power because the higher power is going to lead to a greater hope. See, we believe as Jesus followers that, frankly, we don't have what it takes, but he does. And the gospel is this, that Jesus Christ came down. He lived a sinless and a perfect life. And he went to the cross, and he was the perfect sacrifice that even when I can't do it on my own, he says, I'm going to take you over the line of victory. I'm going to lead you through this. And as he came victorious out of the grave, it instills in every single one of us a hope as he eradicated our sin and brought us into a right relationship with God. But it all starts with declaring him as the boss, the coach, the CEO of your life, by declaring him as Elyon, the Lord Most High. Hey, let's pray. God, I thank you just for giving us the hope in the scriptures. The God, reminding us that even if we can't do it on our own, that you are always sitting there ready and willing to pick up the slack. God, I pray for those who are watching today that you would put this prayer on their lips. That God, I need you to be my Elyon. I need you to direct my circumstances and direct my situation. That God, I'm placing my hope in you, not in what I can do, but in what you are going to do through me. And God, I pray for those who have never made you the Lord of their life. That God, that you would put this prayer on their heart. That God, I am in desperate need of you. I'm asking you to forgive me my sins and take full control of my life today. That I'm asking you to be the boss, the coach, the CEO of my life. And God, I pray for our country. I pray for our world. I pray for our cities. That you would heal us of the virus, that God, that you would get us out of pandemic and out of the lockdown, and the God, that you would continue to work through us and see our world changed. I pray in your name, amen. Hey, if you made a decision to follow Jesus today, I'm going to invite you to either click the button in the chat or text the following to 94,000 because we want to send you some information and celebrate with you. But at this time, I'm going to invite you to stand back up as we finish our service with another song.
Hold me now in the hands that created the heavens. Find me now where the grace runs deep as your scars. You pull me from the clay. You set me on a rock. Call me by your name. Made my heart whole again. Lift it up. peace holds me now.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. We hope that you were encouraged and strengthened. And if you made the decision to put your faith and trust in Jesus today, we celebrate with you. In fact, we would love to reach out to you, so make sure and text the number below so that we can help you as you start this brand new journey. Hey, we are about to kick off our Kid Point service, and so if you've got kids and you feel like they need Jesus, which let me tell you, they do, because we all do, make sure and invite them to come watch right now.
Sometimes the road ahead can be so rough. You are the reason why I don't give up. 'Cause even when it's hard to see, I still believe. So I'm gonna trust your love no matter what. Gonna live my life for you, live my life for you. Whenever I'm walking, talking, and everything I say and do. Gonna live my life for you, live my life for you. Wherever I'm going, you will go with me too. Gonna live my life for you, Gonna live my life for you, Sometimes the road ahead can be so rough. You are the reason why I don't give up. 'Cause even when it's hard to see, I still believe. So I'm gonna trust your love no matter what. Gonna live my life for you, live my life for you. Whenever I'm walking, talking, and everything I say and do. Gonna live my life for you, live my life for you. Wherever I'm going, you will go with me too. Gonna live my life for you, Gonna live my life for you, When I'm weak, I know you're strong. Won't be afraid, you'll be right here through it all. When I'm weak, I know you're strong. Won't be afraid, you'll be right here through it all. Gonna live my life for you, live my life for you. Whenever I'm walking, talking, and everything I say and do. Gonna live my life for you, live my life for you. Whenever I'm walking, talking, and everything I say and do. Gonna live my life for you, live my life for you. Wherever I'm going, you will go with me too. Gonna live my life for you, Gonna live my life for you, Gonna live my life for you, Gonna live my life for
Hello, everybody. I'm Erica, and welcome to my Steve Lab. I've got something extra special to show you today, and I have faith that it will be my coolest discovery yet. Faith is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. And what I can see is this awesome telescope! Ooh. Everything! Wow. I am super excited for what we'll be able to see through this telescope. Stars, planets, galaxies, satellites, space exploring cats. Well, maybe not the cats. There's a skylight in the lab. So, can see all the cool stuff from right here. I just have to finish focusing the telescope. Okay, while I focus on the telescope, why don't you guys focus on the awesome Bible story today? It's out of this world.
And there.
Okay. Did we miss it?
Yeah, sorry. Hold on.
right.
I'll extend the time here a little bit.
Thank you.
All right, ready, set, go. Say cheese.
I'm already smiling. At
Cheese.
Okay, fine. Cheese. How long did you set the time?
Sorry. All right, one more time. Come on, we're gonna get this.
Okay.
I'm setting it for 7.5 seconds.
Okay.
Here we go.
Last time. Let's do it.
Here we go.
This is the keeper.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean to hit you.
I know. You were going fast.
Can we just keep doing this?
Yeah,
Can we-
fine. Okay, yeah.
Let me see if it
Do
took.
it.
I don't think it took. Well, no, I think it might have taken. Oh, I think we're good.
Yeah.
We could just one more?
No, I'm done.
Come on,
Thank you.
come
Goodbye.
on.
I don't want. Come on. All right.
Okay.
Fine. Go.
Come on. Okay, great. I couldn't hold on to the grip.
I'll do it one more time, all right? But this is ridiculous. There's so many pictures of us. We don't need any more pictures. Do you
The
understand
world
what I'm saying?
needs more pictures of us,
I
Brandon.
don't think it does.
Yes, it does.
Fine. You know what? Take your picture. Just take
All right,
yourself. I'm
fine.
not-
I can't take it like that when you're facing the wrong direction. You're supposed to be facing that way. Look. Oh, fine. Be that way. Hey, everybody, I'm John.
And I'm Brandon, and welcome to the So-and-So Show.
We love to tell you jokes that make you laugh.
Well,
For
I mean, we do
example,
more than tell you jokes.
No. What do you call a frozen dog?
I don't know.
A popsicle. You get it?
I do. But John, seriously.
What
we
do you
don't-
call an alligator in a vest?
A crocodile.
No! What? No, an investigator?
Oh, no, I get it. That's funny. That's a really good one. Yeah.
thank you.
No, but this show isn't all about telling people jokes.
Well, I know that. I just wanted to practice a little for my stand-up comedy act on Tuesday.
What? Where is it?
Well, at the one and only Cafe for Comedy, Coffee, and Curly Fries. Stand up every Tuesday mid-morning.
Oh.
Haven't you ever heard of the Curly Fried Comedy and Coffee to Go? Laps and lattes. Muffins over monologues? Have you seriously never heard of any of these events?
No, but it sounds pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Brandon, this is the event of the week for upcoming comedians. It's like the place to be. It's not just pretty cool. It's basically the most epically cool thing that's ever happened to a Tuesday since tacos.
Oh, well, awesome. Good for you.
Well, thanks. I'm sorry I'm so uptight. It's just that I'm wondering if, even though it's a super awesome opportunity, if it would be even more awesome if I didn't do it.
What?
It's just, I don't know how it's gonna go. What if they don't like me? What if they don't laugh? Brandon, no ha-has.
Okay, well, you never know how something's going to turn out before you do it, you know?
Well, when I eat a grilled cheese sandwich, Brandon, I know it's going to feel like 1,000 tiny dairy miracles melting in my mouth all at once every time.
Okay.
I know that for sure.
Yeah.
But with stand-up comedy, I don't know.
Well, yeah, well, what's the worst that could happen?
The worst?
Where's your drink?
It's right this way. So paper bags, am I right? And everyone thought these puppies would never be in style. Oh, muffin? Anyone? They're gluten full. Who am I kidding? No one's even here.
Oh, that's the worst you can imagine? That doesn't seem that bad.
Whatever.
All right, now answer this question. Think about it. What's the best that could happen?
The best? Oh, the best is over here. Hey, Hey, everyone, I'm Jonathan. Oh, wow. Thank you, yeah. Hey, who here hates traffic? Yeah, I know. It's like, move your cars faster on the road. I got places to be. Oh, hey, but what about paying taxes? Ooh, right? Could those forms be any more complicated? Yeah. Hey, if one more ad interrupts my streaming video, I'm going to be like, oh, stop it. Hey, stop it. Thank you. My time's up. Thank you. Especially you. Thank you.
I think that seems pretty doable.
Maybe.
No, I mean, maybe even if they don't throw flowers and even if you don't wear a suit, which I must admit is the least likely thing of your scenario, it could still be good.
Good is like an insult to an artist. It either has to be great or it's worthless.
Okay, yeah, but you're never going to be great if you don't start somewhere.
So you're saying I should do it?
Look, I'm saying you never know how it's going to turn out. So don't let your fear of the unknown be what stops you.
Okay. You're right. I'm going to do it.
All right.
You've inspired me.
That's awesome.
Can I practice my jokes on you right now?
It's Bible story time with Kellen.
Well, hello to my favorite co-host.
Hey.
What you got for us today, Kellen?
Today, we're going all the way to the last book of the Bible, the book of Revelation. After all the history in the Old Testament, and after Jesus came and rescued people and made a way for us to have a relationship with God again. You can read Revelation to find the answer to this next question. What happens next?
Ooh, I can't wait to find out.
Well, you'll have to wait, because first, we're going to dive into some viewer mail.
Wait, is viewer mail a thing?
Is actual mail still a thing?
Of course. I asked our viewers to describe the best place they could imagine, and these are their responses. Do you guys mind helping me read a few?
Sure.
Oh, there you
Oh.
go.
Nice. Nice.
Good throw.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Oh, me. This letter is from Ariel in Broken Bow, Nebraska. Nice. There you go. Dear Kellen, I hope you're doing well.
Thank you, Ariel.
Yeah. The best place I can imagine would have lots of flowers because I love flowers. I can almost picture it. When I was a little girl, there was this beautiful field of wildflowers down the street from our house. There were flowers of every color, blues and purples and yellows of every shade. Sometimes I would just lie down in the field and watch the clouds move in the sky for hours until my dad finally had to call me home for dinner. The best place I can imagine would have flowers as far as the eye could see, and they'd grow all year round. That's a place I'd like to see someday.
Wow. Paints a pretty picture, doesn't it?
Sure does. Let's hear your letter.
Oh, you bet. This one is from Javier from Claremore, Oklahoma. Hi, Javier. Let's see. Dear Kellen, I'm glad you asked about my imagination because imagining is what I do best. The coolest thing I can imagine is an amusement park with the tallest rides in the world. I'm talking about a roller coaster as high as the sky. Can you imagine riding a roller coaster through the clouds and right by the sun? And it wouldn't be scary because the clouds are actually cotton candy. So you could scoop some up to eat every time you rode by. And the best part of Javier's world, that's what it'll be called, is that there are no lines. That would be awesome.
That is awesome. I mean, I love roller coasters, and that sounds wonderful.
Hey, have you got a letter, Kellen?
I sure do. This one is from Keith. He lives in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Ooh.
Kind of a tricky one. Dear Kellen, one of my favorite things to do is play video games with my friends. Every Friday night, my friends and I go to one of our houses or apartments or whatever, and we order pizza and we play video games. And I'm talking all kinds of video games. Racing games, side scrollers, adventure games, open world builders, even classics like Pac-Man and Pong. It's my favorite place to be, surrounded by people I love, games I like to play, and food I like to eat. What could be better than that?
Wow. Who knew mail could be so much fun? I'm gonna have to check my mailbox later.
No kidding. It's really cool to see into other people's imaginations. What did that have to do with the book of Revelation?
I'm glad you asked. The book of Revelation was written by one of Jesus' disciples named John. It was written long after Jesus died and rose again, when John was an old man. God gave John a vision of the future, so John wrote it all down.
No kidding. So what's heaven gonna be like? Is it gonna be like what we read in these letters?
Yeah, will there be flowers and roller coasters?
And pizza? Oh, please tell me there will be pizza in heaven.
I have a confession to make. I don't really have all the answers to your questions. God only gave John a glimpse into the future. He didn't fill in every single detail, but maybe if you close your eyes and listen to what John wrote, you'll be able to picture a little bit of it. In his vision, John saw a new heaven and a new earth, and he heard a voice. The voice said, "Look, God now makes his home with the people. He will live with them. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, and there will be no more sadness. There will be no more crying or pain. Things are no longer the way they used to be." And John saw God himself sitting on a great white throne. And God said, "I am making everything new."
Wow.
Yeah, that's better than pizza.
Way better. No more sadness, no more pain. Everything that's old will be made new. Can you even imagine?
I really can't.
Yeah, it's like it's better than I can even imagine.
Exactly. Even though we don't know every single detail about the future or about heaven, we do know that our amazing, creative, powerful, and loving God has a plan that will blow our mind.
Oh man, we have got a lot to look forward to.
No doubt. Thanks, Kellen.
Yes, indeed. Keep in touch, fellas.
Hey, I'll send you a letter. Now where do I keep my stamps?
I don't know.
Okay.
Reveal the question.
What do you think heaven will be like? Ooh.
Yeah, do you imagine lots of clouds, harps, streets of gold?
Will there be pizza involved?
Talk about it together. What do you think heaven will be like?
And maybe it'll be like going to my stand-up routine. Do you think there's some comedy in heaven?
If you're going to be there, there will have to be.
Thanks, man. Wait, were you being nice or mean just then?
We'll see you next time on the So-and-So Show.
See ya. What's black and white and red all over? Sunburned penguin! This is my mom waking me up when I'm late for school. All right, here we go. Wake up, you're late for school! All right, you know what my favorite breakfast cereal is? Any cereal! All right, here we go. How about this one? I got a better one for you, are you all right? One fish, two fish.
Whoa! Would you look at that? That doesn't look like cheese at all. I love getting a glimpse of things I'm not used to seeing every day. Like today's story. We got a little glimpse of what the future could be like. When Jesus was on earth, he said if anyone puts their faith in him, they'll have a relationship with God that will last forever. That means we can be a part of God's big story, a story that never ends. Now, I don't know what you imagine when you think about heaven. Maybe it's clouds and harps and angels flying around. Maybe what you imagine is exactly right. Though there's a lot about the future we don't understand, it's exciting to think about the things we do know. When we believe in Jesus, we can look forward to a time when there will be no more pain, no more sadness. Everything will be made new. We will be fully alive with God in a way we can't even imagine. That's the one thing to remember today. Following Jesus will turn out greater than you can imagine. Having a glimpse at the future can give us hope here in the present. When we're worried about something or someone, or when we're sad or in pain, we know the bad things won't last forever. God has a future plan for us that we can truly focus on. Speaking of, let's see what this thing is focused on now. I don't believe it! Space cats! Oh. Gotcha! Thanks for hanging with me in the lab, and keep focusing on the important stuff. See you later.